All right, friends, we are here looking at polyatomic ions. A polyatomic ion is an ion that's made up of more than one atom. You are taking multiple pieces and putting them together. But when you put them together, it doesn't make a compound. It doesn't make a balanced positive and negatives. There is still a charge. Remember, ions have charges. So here's an example of that. This is sulfate, SO4, 2 negative. So you see that I've taken one sulfur and 4 oxygens and put them together. And in that process, I need 2 extra electrons to help them be happy together. If you did have the Lewis structure for this, you would see that you need to add 2 more electrons to make this balanced and happy, in quotes. Even though it's an ion, it's not a compound. So it's our SO4 2 negative, and that is what we call sulfate. It has a name, sulfate. Notice it's not sulfide. That would be if it was just S by itself. It's sulfate. So we treat these polyatomic ions just like any other ion, just like a sodium ion or just like a chlorine ion. This reacts just the same way. So if we want to take a metal, something like a sodium, and I want to react it with a sulfate ion. Well, sodium, you know, is in group 1 and has a 1+ charge. Sulfate is a 2 negative charge. So if I want to put these 2 things together, again, I need to balance out their charges. So since this is a +1 and this is a -2, I need 2 of those NAs to balance out that 2 negative. So therefore, my formula would be Na2SO4. How would I name this thing? I would name this as sodium sulfate. Notice I don't change the end to an "ide" like I do with the regular monoatomic ions when I'm just putting 2 elements together to make an ionic compound. I cut the end off and put "ide." No, for these polyatomic ions, the name stays unchanged. I'll give you one more example. If I want to talk about a positive polyatomic ion, that is NH4. It has a 1+ charge, and that is ammonium. Not ammonia. Ammonia is NH3, which is a compound, but ammonium is the ion. Excuse me. So if I want to take that ammonium, and let's say that I want to react it with oxygen. And oxygen we know is a 2 negative, right? So therefore, I'm going to react these 2 things together. We need to balance their charges, right? This is a 1+, this is a 2-. So therefore, I would say NH4, and I need 2 of those guys, right? NH4 as a positive, so that way these 2 can cancel out that 1. So I put it in parentheses. Since I need the whole thing, I need 2 of them. And I put an O on the end. The name of this would, of course, be ammonium oxide, where I'm taking still the same rules. Since this is a regular monoatomic, it's not a polyatomic ion, it's just oxygen, I still use "ide" on the end. So this is a way that you can take and put these polyatomic ions with regular ions. Now, crazy enough, you could take that same thing. You could take NH4 as a 1+, and you could react it with another polyatomic ion. So we could take phosphate, which is PO4, which is a 3-. And you can see that I'm going to need 3 of these guys. I'm going to need all of them to come together and take care of that 3-. So therefore, I'll put my formula as NH4, 3 of them, PO4. And you would name this just simply the names of the polyatomic ions. Ammonium phosphate. So there you go. That's polyatomic ions and how we put them together.